Go to board. I don't really have much today. I know we got a lot of the agenda, but if you guys want to catch me after the meeting, I'll be right here. Anything, any questions you have or anything, feel free to let me know. All right? Yes, sir.
Have you had any code enforcement issues here in the Southeast Bend area that you know of? Something we should be looking out for?
Well, I know right now there's a lot of parking on the grass, but that's because all the streets are being blocked off, so we're not really citing anybody for that, just because we know there's limited parking. Also, I think just outside storage, I think everybody's cleaning right now, so they're stuff outside. A lot of that's going on, so we're just calling. I mean, we do try to call everybody, give them at least 7 days before we actually set up for it's time to move on to the next step. So we're trying to be a little bit more proactive with everybody instead of just, hey, here's your citation, right? So, but no, I think just that, really, just the parking. Yes.
Okay, you said you have 916 Mill Street. That truck has not been running. They actually storing boxes in that truck. Okay. He complained about it at every meeting, and the truck is still there. 916 Mill Street. I went and got the address today when I drove by.
Yeah. If you don't mind, I'll definitely take those addresses down, because usually I know PD takes care of that, like I said, they do parking. But if that hasn't happened, I don't know if it's construction or whatever it might be, but I can definitely look at it.
Okay.
Or, yeah, definitely. So, anybody else? Anything for me? And like I said, I mean, I'll be here after the meeting. If anything comes up, feel free to let me know. All right?
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Tony not here?
He's in that chair.
I don't know. Where did he go?
Cutting house.
Yeah.
Oh, he was there. He might go.
Councilwoman Byrd.
Well, the first thing I want to say is I just miss everybody. It just seems like if you miss a month, it's been a long time. No count, this is my time. Well, let me get inside, but I just want to thank you all for allowing me to speak. Just have a few things here. I want to talk about Quakertown for a little bit, for just 30 seconds. Those signs that the city has been working with you all on are now set up in Quakertown Park. So if you all haven't been over there to see literally where the churches were located, that's where those signs are. Unfortunate to say that one of them had been defaced, but the city was on top of it. They went over there and cleaned it all up. It's in a space where they're walking through, where they can see it and monitor it and monitor those. So they're staying on top of those. Okay. So it'd be good for you all to just go over there and see where they've been located. I appreciate that. High blood pressure, Texas Health Project. Council member Wyatt and I were asked to become involved in this project with the Texas Presbyterian Hospital. And we had recognized, they've given us information about the mortality rate of African American women while pregnant and after they have the baby. There was a young lady that had experienced a very significant high blood pressure problem, and her husband encouraged her to go after she had put it off, thinking that, 2 weeks after having a baby, hormones are still trying to get together. And she was on the cusp of dying. And so she had the wherewithal to come back to the hospital, and she just wants people to know that the mortality rate of African American women when they're pregnant and after they're pregnant is significant, more so significant than any other racial group in the country. We're dying by having a child. Why? So what they wanted us to do was to start talking about blood pressure cuffs, hypertension. Everybody in here knows somebody with hypertension. I have high blood pressure problem. Somebody knows somebody with high blood pressure problem. Hypertension runs rampant in our African American community. Texas Presbyterian wants to help. So they're asking us as city council members and sorority and the links and all of these other groups to just get this information out. But here's a great part. At some point, we're gonna be able to donate high blood pressure cups to moms that go home because they've got to manage their high blood pressure. It's just significant. I'm gonna start talking about it at the city council meetings, Mayor. So I'm gonna start introducing that, and they want us to keep this going because they wanna do a whole regional thing on this. We're losing our sisters because we decided to have our children. Southeast Denton area plan, I know that we have somebody that's gonna talk about it. I've been in communications with the city in regards to some of your concerns about the Southeast Denton area plan, and they are here. Child care needs this area, and somewhere up in this area, there's a significant need for child care. Got to get these moms back to work so they can take care of their families. We have a child care problem in Denton. We do. That leads me to these folks that are sitting here on the first row that said they would help us in their way. I'm not, keep that, you're going to come talk to us about that. But that's going to help us, everything that we can do to try to get these moms back to work, and also know that their kids are in a great space for free. United Way said that they will work with this community to find out and figure out who can take care of our babies. I'm ready for grandkids. I have a 33-year-old daughter and a 27-year-old daughter, and I'm moving into that area. Like, when am I going to have some grandkids around here? But everybody we need to help one another. Catherine Bell, I was telling her this plight. She said, oh, I love grandkids. I love kids. I'm going to have her and work with her to see if we can find more grandmas to work with United Health so we can start taking care of these babies. Culture Committee, I joined the Culture Committee. It's a brand new committee. The committee is going to be looking at our Asian, African American, Hispanic, and whatever other group out there to lift us up. So we're talking now, and we're going to try to do something about it. It's headed by MLK's own Yasina. I don't know her last name. Fans, someone asked about fans. There's going to be another date for fans. I do understand, let me turn this up, I have it right here. I do understand that we are going to have, the city's going to have fans on January 1st. Okay, January, I mean, sorry, no, not January 1st. It starts with a J. July the 1st. She said July the 1st, sustainability staff is going on any additional fan giveaway at the senior center on Saturday, July the 1st. So that was a question. If you all can make it over there to get your free fans, then that would be perfect. Time. 8 to 5.
Oh, that's good. Wow.
8 to 5. She said fans are still available for pickup Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 at the Sustainability Office on 1001 South Mayhill Road. Pre-registration form is for you to pick those up. Can I give the email? Let me give you the www.sustainabledent.com where you can fill out the form to get the free fan. SustainableDent.com. DME customers are asked to provide a billing account. Make sure you take your last bill, your electric bill, with you with an ID so you can get your fan. All right? That should be hard. I hope not.
Where's 1001 Mayhill Road?
1001 Mayhill, South Mayhill Road. That's where the fans are gonna be. Yep, somebody help them with the Googling part. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then here's the other thing. We did have a great Juneteenth. Did you all participate in Juneteenth activities? Wonderful activities. I'm so excited about that. I wish my sorority would have done it this year, but everybody kind of had something else to do. These are people that do a lot of stuff. So this is what I'm thinking. Y'all can boo me, but I'm just going to throw it out there in the atmosphere. This is what Vicki Byrd is thinking, okay? And I will be there. I'm thinking that if we do this, when we do this Juneteenth celebration, that we move the Juneteenth celebration to Quakertown Park. And I'm saying that because if we want to educate folks, we gotta put it in the atmosphere of where all the people are. And so I would think that we can probably do Juneteenth and we can have a family reunion. Y'all remember those family reunion days? I was a kid having to go to my grandparents' house in Mahia, Texas. And during the Juneteenth, the parents would drop us off the day after school was out. I would come and pick us up the day before school. But our grandparents would take us to the Mahia State Park, and we would see all of this excitement. People have picnic baskets. It could be a big picnic family reunion thing. But it can't happen by myself. It has to happen with your guidance. You all just want to put it out there, and you guys think about that, and y'all talk about that, because this is going to be a big thing. Southeast Denton, we have more parking. We can enjoy the lushness of Quakertown. It's very beautiful over there, and I think we deserve to be over there as well. We can just invite everyone in the community. We can say, oh, white folks, they don't know nothing about what we're doing. Well, here we are. This is our opportunity to just let it all out there. We are a family. We love each other. We have our issues, but we can still have fun. And we can enjoy the whole entire community. We can have a festival. We can still have our parade. We can just pull out our picnic baskets. We can just karaoke on the stage. John Bain can do something for us, as well as Donald Cox, and give us our information. I love it, and I want to share it. But that's just my idea. You all think about that so we can start going towards that way, or we can sit still, whichever way you all want to do it. I would definitely be here to support you in the effort. I am here for you. Finally, I want to thank you all for having me back. You all did not have to have me back in this position, but I do want you all to know that I am, y'all are my people. And I just can't, I'm not going to let it rest. I'm just going to make sure that you have all you deserve, all you need. I can support as far as I can. But I have to have you to help me. And that's what I'm doing with the city council. I'm making sure that we get what we need and they can hear us. Plus, you know, I'm kind of cute, kind of cool, you know, with all of that. And they're enamored by that. All right, so thanks, you said, okay. So that's all I have to say, but of course, if there's anything I can help you with, you know, you have my phone number, you have my email. Thank you for letting me speak a little longer. I know I'm going to talk.
Can I see the mayor back there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Hudspeth.
How you doing? Good to see you. Good. Appreciate y'all. Pleasure to see you. You on film? How are you? Good to see you, man. Yes, I'm in the back. All right. So I just want to encourage the group, and maybe it's a email you can send or questionnaire. I would encourage y'all to have a conversation about what the future of Southeast Denton looks like, and have put that in writing. Here's why I say that. I keep hearing from the city manager's office, we had this problem before, hey, well, somebody says they don't want us to build anything or repair anything over there. They don't want us over there, right? Somebody. I don't know who somebody is, but I'm just saying y'all need to, as a community, as a neighborhood, talk about, because here, the word's gentrification, that's where it ends, but the word before that is repairs, right? Like fixing the roads, fixing buildings, rebuilding buildings, right? So that can be called gentrification, but the opposite is true too. If we don't do anything, we just let our neighborhood run down, right? There's gotta be something in the middle about, hey, fix these things, but help us keep people in their houses or whatever that is. But as a group, I think it's important to make that known. So when people go to the city manager and say, hey, I've been told don't do anything over there, she can then say, well, here's a document of what the neighborhood discussed and what they're comfortable with. You go talk to them, right? And that's what I'm trying to do, redirect people here versus these side conversations. Now, don't get me wrong, it's tough to stay. Y'all tough. It's like being in Apollo. It's tough, really. But that's occupational hazards, right? You know, and so y'all are too young to remember, but there used to be these Tonka toys that are really tough. So you got to be able to do that. So I would just recommend that the community do that. Other thing is this Saturday, 4th of July parade. So if you didn't have that on your calendars, please participate or just show up or not, but just know that that's going on. Or if you're trying to plan to go someplace, know that a lot of roads going to be blocked off. It starts downtown, so that's going on. Then I'll let you know the Denton County elections are heating up. I would encourage this group to invite those candidates, the sheriff, the judges, whatever, invite them over there to talk to you. I think that's important. And then along that line, right after that is city council races. Those are at-large races. I bring that up because we're in District 1. The way this council's set up, the mayor can live anywhere in the city and run. Then you have District 6, which you have to live in, so they have it divided up. So it's an at-large seat. Anyone can vote for the council member in District 6, which is currently former Mayor Watts. But you have to, that candidate has to live in either Districts 3 or 4. So what I'm saying is District 5 would also be on the ballot, and you have to live in District 1 or 2. So someone from this area can run, someone in District 2, which is on the other side of University Drive, can run. So that'll be right after the county elections. So just so people know, if you live in this area and that's a desired yours, then start considering that. Then I will say, I talked to Habitat for Humanity, and I'm asking for feedback. That road they're going to have to build a road from Duncan to Hill, and for those houses they're building. I would like to ask them to name that road between those two MLK Jr. Boulevard. Understanding that's not ideal, but that's otherwise you don't have a plan to do it, right? There's not a plan forward. That's absolutely doable. They will agree to it. We will have one, or we can not have one and hope it shows up someplace else. I don't have a dog in that hunt. I just facilitated the question. The answer is yes, they can do it. Then you don't want it. By all means, you don't want it. But that's a guarantee versus a maybe. So I leave that to you, however you want to get back to me on that. But that's where I left it. Just confirmed it's doable. Confirmed they'll do it. And it doesn't take anything. So that's where we are. You let me know. Then thanks to Byrd Johnson, she mentioned that tree on Oak Street. So I submitted that to Denton to get that replaced. So if you drive over Oak Street, over by where the Gladneys live and all that tree's kind of hanging over the street and leaning on some wire. So I reported that. I wasn't crazy about the answer they gave me, so I got to follow back up with that to figure out where they are, but we're trying to get that addressed. And then lastly, the neighborhood was well represented. Pastor Chambers and the other pastors and neighbor lines came together for that Equip conference at St. Andrews, and that was really well done. That's annual, so if you have an opportunity, and then so all the ministers were there, and it was really great. So if you're not regularly attending that, or looking on, they're great about putting it online, which is fantastic. So I would encourage people to participate in that, because that's really good. So that's all I have. Any questions? Yes.
You were saying the 4th of July parade was the first?
Correct.
I know they're doing the fireworks different this year, like a drone. Is that going to be the first, or is it actually going to be on the 4th?
That's going to be on the 3rd.
On the 3rd.
Is it Monday the 3rd?
Monday.
Yes.
Monday.
Monday the 3rd, they're going to shut down the square, and it'll be drones that'll go up and do a show, a 4th of July show versus actual fireworks. So, yes, ma'am.
And you said something, that was one of the key, you said Street Boulevard, and you said offer the name, Duncan Hill Street.
Off of Duncan, they have to build a road between that development. So it go from Duncan to Hill Street. Yes.
That's not enough. I hope you don't mention that, because that to me, that's not.
Sure. No. Hey. If the group decides no, that's great. I'm just bringing you
Okay, I'm
options.
just saying.
A guaranteed option.
I'd rather for it not to be even a Martin Luther King street name here if it got to be such a short street.
Sure.
We want a boulevard.
Sure. And if that's what the group wants.
It is the only town that I know that don't have a Martin Luther King Boulevard. That's important to me.
Sure.
You know, at first they was gonna do this right here at Newton. We don't want, this is not nothing right here. You know, and everybody say they can't rename streets, they do them all the time. They do them all the time.
No, it's not about renaming the streets. People have to agree about it.
Still, they still do them. It's a lot of stuff the city do that people don't agree. And I'm fighting right now on stuff, so I already know. And you know what I'm talking about, man.
Yes, yeah, I got that email, it bummed me out.
You said you spoke to someone, or you were talking about the tree on Oak Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who did you speak to?
So I submitted it through Engage Denton, right? And then they gave me to that app, and then I took a picture and sent it to them, said, hey, this is leaning on this line. And then they emailed back, said, hey, we're taking a look at it, we opened it, and then they closed it, and they gave me some notes. But the notes aren't real clear, and the tree's still there, so I gotta follow up.
It's not so much the tree, it's the line. It's the cable line is hooked into the tree.
Correct, but for me, so that you know how I do things, right? So I understand that, but I gotta get them to move, right? So I gotta tell them what's important in my eyes and try to raise the importance of the issue to get action, right? So if I just go, because I believe, as I looked at it, I think it's probably like a cable line and not a power line. And so we can't, as a city, interfere with those lines. But I can also say it's hanging over the street and our trash trucks are gonna hit it or someone could fall or could fall on somebody, which is more important, which then allows the city to say, hey, this is an emergent situation. I can now go do what I normally wouldn't do because, and case in point, I mean, if you don't know, that's what happened to Governor Abbott. He was running and a tree limb fell on him and he became paralyzed. And so those are critical issues that we need to address right away. We can't wait, in my estimation, to get in touch with charter communication or whatever and have them get us. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to give it some juice. Yeah, go ahead.
I just happened to get the same email because it's District 1. Got the same email, got the same request for the same tree on the same street. We did find out that there was a Frontier, charter Frontier, that's a cable line. And so what we did was, and I recognized that they did manage to get in touch with those folks, and they put like a stretch connector on it to make it stretch so it can pull it out of the tree. But they did not touch the tree. So that's the thing about bureaucratic stuff. Everybody's just gonna only touch what they deal with. So if you drive by there, you'll see all of these metal things that they have where they spliced that and pulled it out of the tree. But the tree is still there. It's still hanging out. You know, it could stand to be cut. But I just thought that would be, responsibility of the people that own that house to cut that, or if it's danger enough, the city can come through and cut that down. We'll keep working on that.
I'm gonna talk to him tomorrow, and we're gonna.
Yeah, we'll deal with that if it has to be cut down. But I know exactly what y'all are talking about.
We on
Yeah,
it.
we did all right.
We different. You know what I mean? I got it. So we'll get it. Thank you. It's just taking longer than I like, but it's been a couple of days, but we're on it. Thank you. Yes. Any other questions? Anything? Outstanding. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
I know I have a lot on the agenda. Michael, how long do you think you need?
I can, if I go last, I can just kind of keep it to the time I need to. I don't want to go over y'all's time.
Okay, the reason why I invited, the Woodrow apartments that they're building right here, I wanted us to get an update from them as to what's going on and what's the next step. So that's why you see these guys here. So I'll go ahead and let you guys go.
Okay, thank you. For those of you that don't remember me, my name is Joel Pollack, and of course Darren Woodson. We are the development partners for Pathway on Woodrow. It's an affordable housing community. 50% of the units will be at 30% of area median income. The balance will be at 60% of area median income. We are, I was here 2 weeks ago over Memorial Weekend. They were just finishing up Duchess Drive. Things have progressed well. It's a challenging site. Our contractor had to close down Woodrow for a little bit so they can get in and out of Duchess and pour that street. But we have now turned the corner. We started framing, and we believe that framing will take about 150 days or about 5 months. And it's our plan to turn over units by next April or May. So residents of this community will be able to start moving in at that time. In conjunction with that, we will have roughly a 7,500 square foot community center in which when we had met with the community, we had told you that we're going to have an after-school program for our residents. And I'm going to let Darren speak to that a little bit. But before he speaks, if you have any questions regarding progress and what we're doing out there, I'm open to questions.
Is this the development that backs up on Loop 288?
No, this is on Woodrow.
Across from
Oh, okay.
Across from
Okay.
from the detention center.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, we're excited to be here. I can tell you just from the feedback that we've received from not only our management company, but our market analysts, that there's a pent-up need and demand for affordable housing, which supports businesses and the rest of the community. So I think it will be it will be an added addition to this community, and we're looking forward to being part of it.
The people that's gonna manage that, are they from Denton or Dallas?
They're from Houston.
Houston.
So, yeah, the company we use is a company called Asset Living. Asset Living manages 38,000 affordable apartments across the western region of this country: Texas, Louisiana, Arizona, Colorado. They manage all of our projects, or all of our communities for us. So, and they do a fabulous job. So,
I got a question back here. When you say affordable,
yes, ma'am.
what is the affordable range run to?
So, I have to go to my sheet notes because I can't remember them all. So to give you an idea, if I can pull it up, if I can see. So a 30% one-bedroom rent will start at $580. A 2-bedroom will be at $696, and a 3-bedroom will be at $804. A 60% rent will be at $1160. A 2-bedroom at $1392, and a 3-bedroom at $1608. Market rate rents are, fair market rents are $1326 for a 1-bedroom, $1565 for a 2, $1972 for a 3. So our rents are substantially lower than what the market rents are, or what's called FMRs, fair market rents.
Okay, I don't know how many of y'all came to the Southeast area, the listening sessions. The one thing that the guy who was giving the meetings, I heard him say it 3 times. He said he was in awe that the city allowed apartments to be built across from the detention center. He never would go into detail about why he thought that was such a terrible idea. So I want you to know that we weren't alone on that being a bad location. We actually got an outsider who thought the same way. And I just wanted to give you that information.
Yeah, well, again, as the developers, as the guarantors of not only the debt and the equity, we are very careful on where we select our locations, and we felt that that it wasn't going to be, or it wasn't going to have any impediment or impact on the leasability of that community. So we are fine with where it's at, and we think it's going to be a good addition to Woodrow and that location.
I agree.
And it's the social aspect as well. You know, I'm from a neighborhood just like this in another part of another state, built exactly somewhat like this. Social programming is where, for us, is where the need is. After school programming for these kids, for moms and dads. We have financial literacy courses after hours. We have tax programming.
Yep.
We have so many social aspects to this, and that's the need for us. That's what we wanted to make sure that we definitely gave back to the neighborhood, because you guys are giving so much in return. So, do we have any other questions? And also we're giving away scholarships, 2 scholarships for $7,500, 2 other scholarships for
$5,000 every year.
Every year.
So, and we're here, just so you know, this is not like a market rate developer who builds, stabilizes, gets it completed, and then sells. We are going to be here for 15 years. You will see us year over year, multiple times during the year. So, and we're accessible. You can reach out to us once the community is finished. We have a terrific management. So, and then Councilwoman Byrd, I will talk to you about daycare, because I'm doing a daycare for one of my son's schoolmates who's going to burn down, and his daycare is supported by the state. So I have a little bit of insight to what needs to get done.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The affordable apartments that they're putting up over there, they sit back off the street, right?
They're interspersed with the rest of the community. So when you say set back off the street, the community is built on the corner of Woodrow and Dutchess.
Oh, okay, back there. Okay, not right here on Dutchess Street runs back there.
It's a new street that we put in.
Oh,
It's a brand new street.
Oh, okay.
So ultimately, who we bought that property from, there's a developer that will at some point develop the rest of the land back there, which will be single-family for sale homes. And I know that was something that was discussed by individuals within this community. Why isn't there more single-family homes? Right now, the market's not there. It's a difficult climate for single-family home builders. Interest rates are high, construction costs are high, but that will resolve itself, as time goes on. So.
Will there be sidewalks there?
There are sidewalks on Dutchess, yeah.
Oh, okay, but not on Woodrow?
On Woodrow too.
Yes, I'm putting in the sidewalks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is gonna be a wonderful community. So, I mean, just watch it. If you have questions, be, more than happy. Everyone, I think Councilwoman Byrd has my email, but I can give you my email address. You can always reach out to me with questions.
Yeah, that's the throat to choke. So.
I want to ask a question about the management company.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the one that's going to be in Houston, or is it going to be somebody?
No, this is going to be fully staffed here.
Okay, so if they start getting antsy or horsey, it'll be somebody on site to kind of calm things down.
Oh, we do not have problems in any of our communities at all. And if a resident misbehaves, then then they go. And we have so everyone has to qualify based on income and also based on previous background. They cannot have any evictions. They have to have a job. They have to demonstrate that they've never committed a crime. So anyone that has a criminal background, they're not going to be approved in
our background checks are more stringent than any market rate.
Yes.
Building that's out there. We have to go through this process.
Yeah, and that's a rule under the statewide program. So.
Okay. One of the things that I really like about this particular building is that it's like a village. They're going to have some senior housing, which will help with our activity center. I'm just imagining that, and so I'm very excited about what's coming up over there.
It's open to seniors. It's open to families. This is not a senior-centric community. It's a family community, but if there is a senior that wants to move into the community, it's open to them. We envision a lot of children with families moving into this community, which would be a benefit to the Denton community because of, like Darren said, because of what we will provide with scholarships, with after-school tutoring, things like that. So we're excited to be here. In fact, maybe we'll do a senior community here. I'd like to do. We would love to do an affordable senior community here. I think it's needed. Just.
Looking at you when we say that, we're going to do that.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is Amy here?
I will call you because
Amy's not.
Take care of you. Thank you, sir. Take care of yourself.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Parks and Rec.
Real quick, I just wanted to say something about the Quakertown sign. It was the sign that was nearest to the Civic Center, and it was one of the signs that are sort of generally informative about Quakertown history. It's not one of the signs that was at one of the church locations. But we got the guy on video. Unfortunately, the resolution is so, it was really far away. It was like at 12:50 at night. So the resolution wasn't enough to figure out who it was. What he did is he had some sort of like he was with a female companion, and he had like I think a crowbar or some sort of device. He just walked up and just hit it really fast. So I don't even know if the guy was reading what the sign said or understood what it meant. It was just like a really weird sort of like flash of violence. Made me worried about her companion, but hopefully she's left him. But there, it was just a hole in the sign. There wasn't any sort of associated, there wasn't any graffiti or anything like that. So we've got the sign currently being remanufactured by our sign maker, and then park staff will have the sign up very shortly, right by the Civic Center. And we had anticipated that something like this might happen, and our plan is with vandalism just to go in and replace the items as quickly as we can. So when we saw that there was a hole in the sign, we took it away, and then we talked to our sign people so I just want to let you know about that. Other things about Quakertown, our events calendar. We're working on events for later on this year. We're going to be talking with the arts and jazz folks, trying to get some programming then. I also know that in my conversations with SED and with the ALH Women's Group, we would really like to do an event where we have Quakertown descendants having the opportunity to speak their truth to the rest of the community. I'd like that to be really big and prominent, well-promoted event, and I think we could do that with everyone's help. We just need to know how you want that to look like and who you want to speak and what sort of associated things you want with that. But I think that would be great because what we've had is on this first half of the Quakertown calendar, we've done a good job, I think, of telling people the story of Quakertown. And now we need descendants to share their stories with us so that we can learn as a whole community. So just wanted to throw that out there and let you guys think about that. And I'm here today to talk about what we're going to be doing at the Sycamore Street Bridge. So right now there's some street projects going on there, but once those sort of quiet down, we will be getting with our artist, Natasha Ray Platt, who submitted her art along with several other artists, of course. And the Public Art Committee chose chose her art because they felt it worked best with the theme that you communicated to us, which was for butterflies and sort of vibrant flowers. And this installation will actually be a vinyl wrap on the three surfaces of the bridge. In these pictures, we've got basically just one surface of the bridge showing because that's the picture I provided in the RFP. But this will be on the outside facing so toward ALH and the park, and then also on the two inner sides of the bridge facing the road, obviously. And as you can see, it's got a pretty good vibrant design, I think, with butterflies and flowers as requested on this sort of greenish background that sort of suggests grass, I suppose. But I think it'll look really great, and we'll get it installed as soon as she finishes her design, and we know that the streets around are ready for this to be installed. And the benefit for vinyl is that it's slightly less expensive than a painted treatment, but then it also gives us the advantage of if somebody does come and tag the bridge, we can go in and cut out the portion that's been affected and replace it with newly printed vinyl that matches. So it's like, you have a repaired wallpaper. It's kind of like that. But the vinyl wrap is actually, it has quite a long shelf life, but it has a long life, so it's durable material. But then again, if we have problems with it, if somebody messes with it, if it just has wear and tear associated with just normal wear and tear, we can go in and make those repairs as needed. And it gives us a little bit more flexibility. But there is the argument to
yeah, and the cutouts are worst case scenario. Yeah. They will have a film that's anti-graffiti coat, so it'll help off. We can just go over there with a pressure washer and just take it off. But if not, then we have the advantage of taking sections off.
And the anti-graffiti film is good too, because when someone tries to tag, it just doesn't really tag. So it's very frustrating for graffitists.
So which leads me to Carl Young Senior Park Splash Pad. Really just the last 6 to 8 months we've been working on this effort. And just want to thank everybody here that has expressed their feedback and just concerns of what they had from the original phase. So going to this phase 2, you recall back in April, I had everybody here give me some votes on their preferred amenities. So on top of that, we've had these poster boards at NLK, we had it at ALH, we had an online survey, and we received over 250 responses just with various efforts on here. So what you have here is it's the total votes, and then this is the actual render of what that'll look like at the splash pad, which also gives you just an overall visual of what you'll have out there with the existing and the new. So this is going on City Council consent agenda tomorrow. So if it does pass, this will get constructed starting in September. So that's our hope. So everything that you see here is budgeted for. That's what's going to be on the City Council agenda. So everything here will get built, and there's opportunities for us to add an additional shade. But overall, the budget here is $700,000. Right now, this is what you have here is roughly about $680 with some contingencies for us to be able to add additional shade elements if it's appropriate within that budget. So with that, these are going to stay here. We'll also have this on our project page on Discuss Denton that you're able to keep track on the project status. But I'll leave these boards here at MLK and I'll get some over at ALH as well for the community to see. But are there any questions, feedback, concerns?
How many places will there be for the parents to sit?
So as of right now, there are a total of 6 benches. So that's not to say that nobody can't bring their chair and just kind of get out there. And then the park system itself has benches out existing, so there's opportunities for that. But as of right now, there will be 6 dedicated benches on site.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the bridge on Sycamore, on each side?
Yes, yeah, that right there is the bridge on Sycamore.
That's the one with y'all wanna do the butterfly.
Correct.
And the park, I have read and went through it. It is beautiful. Y'all did a beautiful job in the park.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
I
thank you.
walked through it and saw it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Great.
How much is that area?
So this is going to be 2,500 square feet. So it's going to double the size of what you have existing. So this right here, you're going to double that size to have that, but you're going to have more of those elements, those 4 elements that were selected within this first go around. So we have a total of all these 4 that'll get implemented. And you'll see a lot of photos right here on how you can interact with them.
And every time I've gone over there, just take a peek, doing my walk, drive-throughs, it's always somebody over there.
Yeah.
It's a kid over there playing around, it could be 2 or 3 kids, but it's always somebody that I've gone through. I drive through here all the time. So it's very nice.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, if there's any feedback, again, you have our front desk here. We're always welcome to answer any questions and any feedback. So if there's any needs out there, just let us know. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Can someone Tony, come here, please. He was just standing there in the back.
They watch.
Yes.
Probably quicker just to, yeah, just give them. Appreciate it.
People from the grave road, when they do about this stuff.
She was supposed to.
Said I'm up.
Can't say you were wrong.
Had to reintroduce myself.
Yeah.
Hey, I've been busy. I've been trying to get a lot of specialized training so I can come back and do some good things. So in about 2 weeks, I'm gonna go take another state certification, hopefully pass it and get a title as a specialist and come back and put it to good use. So that's my hope. So, but what we're passing around now is some of the calls for service that was in the area, recent calls. So I think I put about 10, 11 calls on there just for information. And it kind of has a little summary for each address. And then the last thing is with the heat. We had a person experiencing homelessness who passed away, and they think it was heat related this morning. So every chance we get, we're just going to put out information about heat and be prepared. So it's 300 block of Woodrow. They said they were over there doing some work, and they got finding him unconscious. So, but they're thinking it's heat related. So.
Does anybody have anything for the police?
You know, you want to hear about that Hill and Park Lane standoff.
The Hill.
The Park Lane at 700 block, right across the street from 705. That big thing that happened that night, it lasted till about midnight, 12:30 that night.
So
Starting at about 6:30 in the evening.
yeah, so if that's the one that's on there, basically,
That on there? Oh, here.
which one was it?
What happened?
On the, what's that?
Do you remember the name of it?
So they have one on the 600 block of Park Lane.
Yeah, that's not the one.
That's not the
next
one?
door. It was cutting up the night before. This is right on the corner
Okay,
across the street.
okay, because they were saying that one with this was related to another call, there was the theft of a vehicle that they thought was connected, and I think that other address was connected to this call, but I would, I can pull that address directly.
I gotta give you that. I'm on 705 Park Lane, so
It's 704.
704 Park Lane.
Okay.
They left like 6:30 in the evening to about 12:30 that night.
Yeah,
I was just wondering, was anyone apprehended or?
I can
You
pull
can
that
find
up,
that.
yeah, I can pull that up as soon as I go back to next door.
Because they asked me if I had anything on my ring doorbell, but I couldn't see anything,
Okay.
that anybody came out or anything happened.
But I wanna know, what is that? I'm talking about the same house. That's supposed to be a halfway house. What is, do you know what type of house?
I don't believe they have any over there.
That's what they keep telling me to have, that they have made that house a halfway house.
Okay.
I think he just rents rooms.
He just rents
He
rooms.
rents rooms.
Oh, so it's not really.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's what I was, everybody been calling me, you need to have that, you know, it's a, but a halfway house, all these people living there.
Well, we have before, as far as another address where we had the same thing where a guy was like subleasing to a whole bunch of people that were squatting and stuff, and we had to go over there and help them, with some of the things they were doing and weren't doing. But with that address again, I can pull it up and see what's going on. And then if there's something that you're curious about, just give me a call and I can pull it up, at that moment.
If we have time, yeah.
We're right across the
Okay.
street and we felt threatened.
704?
Says, we're 705, it's right across the street, it's 704.
Okay.
I know he pulled up, a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was someone, my parents live here, so if everybody remembers Janelle Landers' old house, someone kicked in that guy's back door in the broad daylight. And, they had been watching him because he works from home, and he left for a minute, and they had been watching him kicked in. We never saw nothing, heard nothing. They come back through Mill Street, I think is how they did it. So just be careful out there, keep your doors locked.
Yeah. All right.
That burning truck on Duncan, was that an accident or the reckless driver?
Reckless driver.
Yeah,
They say it's speed, they say it's speed was a factor. Yeah.
The guy that mows our yard.
I'll be right
Thank you, Tony. Before, I introduce Michael, was anybody else here?
You gonna get Julia, let's talk about the sound a little bit.
No, Julie, I forgot. And Amy's not here, right? That woman.
I'll be right
Said, is that her name?
Yeah.
Oh, Amy from, the developer.
She was supposed to be here.
I'm Julie Wyatt, and I'm the project manager for the Southeast Denton Area Plan. You may have heard of it. We've just gotten through another round of public engagement, so I just wanted to let you know. If you recall, we had some listening sessions in April. The intent of the listening sessions was really to come and listen to the community, for the project team to ask questions, to get that feedback, and to make sure we heard from everyone and all the voices within the community. We want this to be a community-driven plan. We want it to come from the residents of Southeast Denton, so it's really important that we listen to the community. Those first listening sessions were successful. Sorry, I can't see either if I put glasses on. My eyes are getting older every day. We had 5 sessions in April. Just to get the word out, we sent mailers to all the property owners as well as the residents. We did a press release in the Denton Chronicle Chronicle. We emailed. We also sent out social media. We had about 50 to 60 attendees, so it was pretty well attended. Primarily, most of the attendees were over 50 years of age, and so we wanted to. We went back with the project team and we talked with them, and they really wanted to also get some young voices as well. So we said, let's do another round. So that's what we just had last week, if you recall. I think we had like 9 events last week, starting with Juneteenth on Friday night and then going through to the next Saturday. We had 2 additional listening sessions. We pivoted a little bit. We wanted to make sure that we also got all demographics within Southeast Denton. So we had the marketing materials translated into Spanish. We also had interpreters at the meetings to make sure that all people who attended felt comfortable. We posted flyers, we emailed our steering committee and community contacts. We put it on social media. We also did yard signs. I don't know if anybody saw the yard signs. Mia and I were running up and down the streets in Southeast Denton, putting those yard signs out. We also last week had intercept surveys. That was kind of new for me. They were just really man on the street interviews. So there were a list of questions, and we just asked people who just walked by and looked like they were slightly interested. So we had that at Juneteenth. We had 2 occasions of listening sessions at MLK. We wanted to grab those parents who were picking up kids from camp. So we sat outside and we bribed the kids with lollipops. and then talked to their parents. We also went to a local restaurant last Saturday. It was very hot, but we were out there and bribed people with popsicles and water to talk to us as well. We still have those surveys. They were supposed to be on the website today. I don't think they were posted today, but we're going to have a couple more weeks where those that maybe we didn't capture during those intercept surveys to take that survey. I know I've heard from the group that going online is not your favorite thing to do, but if you want to, you can. I've got these refrigerator magnets that you could scan the QR code. It will take you to Discuss Denton. Is anybody interested in getting a refrigerator magnet? Okay, yes, you can always put kids' artwork on it.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't love technology and don't want to go online and take the survey, never fear. I could get you a paper copy. We talked about maybe putting some at MLK, also at American Legion, or you can call or email me, and I will gladly get you a paper copy or email a PDF that you could email back to me. Like I said, we want to hear from everybody. So if we didn't capture you at the first round, contact me or scan that QR code. That survey should be up in the next day or so. Finally, I'll be really fast. Our steering committee met for the first time on Friday. Reverend Logan was there, and we had a great time. They validated the information that the project team heard in the first listening sessions, talked through it, gave maybe some additional context, said, oh, maybe think about this, or what did you think about that, and just talked about those results from this first listening session. They also picked a logo for the area plan. It's always really fun to have the branding for the plan. They're making tweaks on it that y'all requested. So that will be launched very soon. So we'll have the plan with the logo and the branding. So when you see that, you'll know that that's what we're talking about. Next steps, we're going to do community visioning sometime in late August. That's going to be a Saturday, and so be on the lookout for that. We'll definitely want everybody in the community to come out for that. And then if you're wondering, how can I help with the area plan? I have some ideas for you. Attend the meetings and events. So be on the lookout for those meetings and events, the visioning. Take those online surveys or call me for a paper survey. Encourage your friends, neighbors, family, church members, organization members to also do the same. So really talk it up. And then if you have any questions, call me. And then just be on the lookout for additional opportunities. Any questions?
What is that visioning? What does that mean? What is vision of what? What is it?
It's really the project team, the consultant team is going to take the community and the attendees through maybe some visual preference boards. So what kinds of developments you'd like to see, some other exercises, really to sort of go through what the mayor talked about is, what does this community want to see for the community? How do you want the community to look in 10 years or 20 years? So really go through those exercises. So it's going to be a couple of hours, so plan on being with us for a couple of hours. It'll probably be here or the American Legion, so it'll be inside this time. I think we wore out the consultant because it was so hot last week, but I promise the next one will be inside.
And you wanted 4 more people to be on the steering committee.
Well, we have some others, so I think we might be there. So I think, we've got such a great steering committee, and they gave such incredibly insightful feedback last week, and so I really think it's a good group. And but we do have some additional members. We have up to 15 that we could fill with the steering committee. Our project team really cautioned us about any more than 15. We want to keep it kind of small so everybody can participate. We have 9 now, and I think we've got 3 or 4 additional people who have responded now that they're interested and that they would like to participate. So it's going to be going on council agenda sometime soon, upcoming agenda.
Good.
Any other questions? Did I see some other hands in the back? Well, if you think about it, just let me know. All right, thank you so much. Thank you.
Do you want me to give the presentation next month and end on time, or do you want me to?
No, I just want it right now.
All right, then. All right.
Go ahead and
Yes. So my name is Michael Bates. I'm one of the staff attorneys with Legal Aid of Northwest Texas. My coworker Emily, you might have met her in the past. She wishes she could be here today. She's one of our paralegals. She had a medical leave situation, so she's out for a little while, but on the road to recovery. So I am going to keep it as brief as I can today. I had a longer meeting with Reverend Logan and Miss Collette. But if you want to meet with me later, I love getting coffee. I like playing basketball. Whatever is your preference, I will go do it. So let me know if you want to hear more about this. But I'll keep it as kind of high level today as I can. So today, I'm just kind of discussing the rail yard development. Sedna had talked with us about some of the zoning that had gone on there and how it changed from industrial to residential now and how they're building an apartment complex there. And I know you all in the past had watched a movie about a community benefits agreement in California that had happened. So kind of discussing with us what are the possibilities of that and having us just start to research it. So we've been looking into it for about a month and just have initial assessment on it. So just wanted to briefly tell you who we are so that in the future, if you're interested in working with us more, you can. Legal Aid of Northwest Texas, overall, we don't charge our clients, so I'm not charging anything today. It comes from the U.S. government and other grants. But we work for individuals who can't afford an attorney, or we work with communities, so like family law issues. But I focus more on environmental justice, fair housing, and community development. And I actually can't advocate for small area plans. I work on a lot of different city zoning issues. And that's where sometimes we, as community groups, try to address issues as we see them actually pop up. But the area plans and zoning is where it starts. So you can kind of start addressing the problem or what you want to have input on with planning before it even starts popping up as a building. So I know in Lubbock we're just starting a small area plan that we're working on out there, and it's important to advise those kind of things because those are the things that inform city council to make decisions and things like that. So this presentation, as I said, would just talk about the community benefits agreement, but also talk about environmental compliance reviews on the site. Just wanted to make sure that the reviews that were done on the site that's nearby Southeast, or that is in Southeast Denton, was done properly, and we're just going to discuss that today. So this is the site, and to give you a little bit of better context, this is the map for the rail yard development. It's a complex of housing, and they're possibly going to have a bit of mixed use with possibly some businesses and things like that. But you can see it's on Prairie Street and Sycamore Street. They've been developing these plans for a period of time and are starting to build on it, especially phase one. So, and also if you have any questions, just feel free to raise your hand. I'm going to fly through this, but I will address them as they come up. Just wanted to give you a brief history of that site. It started out in 1907 as a cotton gin and single-family residences, and then in 1967, it was Trinity Industries, where they had a lot of like metal processing and building at that time. And then it stopped in 99, site was demolished in 08, and then 2011 they did a remediation process. That's where they clean up the land that was being utilized and try to address the environmental concerns that can come from using a site industrially and then possibly transitioning it to residential use. So not going to get into detail of these because it's a lot of science, but basically they had to go through a lot of processes with the city of Denton called a municipal setting designation, and then also with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, which is basically the EPA of Texas. And they review to make sure that they can get a certificate that it was cleaned up properly and assessed properly, and then that it's fit for residential use. So what we've been researching is the community benefits side of things and the environmental side of things, just trying to see what we can inform Sedna on for that site. The community benefits agreement side of things, what's important to know about a community benefits agreement on just a baseline level, keeping it simple, is that it's a contract. And it would be a contract between a developer and the neighborhood to address something that's going on with the city and something that the city is attempting to achieve, like a zoning change or what we call an easement or something of that nature. And in a lot of cases, it requires a type of leverage point. So I won't get into detail, but sometimes that can be zoning. So let's say the community is concerned that in some cases something transitions into industry and the community is concerned that that's transitioning into industry. They can work with that, whoever's developing that site, to come to an agreement about how that industry is going to operate before the industry makes an agreement with the city. So in this case, what we found, at least for phase 1 of the rail yard, is they're already set up with what's called zoning by right. And for a lot of their zoning, they have clearance to utilize the land for what they want to. So they are able, on a mixed-use site, they're able to utilize it for housing, to build sidewalks. They've cleared their sewer easements to build sewer lines. So in some ways, a community benefits type of contract may be difficult to achieve because they already have their proper type of zoning. However, that doesn't mean that there aren't things that you can do. So these are some of the ideas that you guys had come up with in meeting with that group, but aren't necessarily related to a contract. So I'll just fly through a couple of them. Get back to meeting with Lang Partners and maybe Amy Bissett quarterly and starting to have conversations, discussing options for affordable housing, one-time grants for communities, and then we're going to research phases 2 and 3 to see what other options might be available in the future. Environmental compliance, I'll fly through. But on a basic level, they passed their requirements. So they have to look at what's called like volatile organic compounds, different types of chemicals that might be in the ground soil level and also in the groundwater level. The one that we were kind of concerned about when we heard the name was TCE, which is a long word. It's trichloroethylene. I don't know if I pronounced that exactly correctly, but it's a type of chemical that was related to the degreaser for the metals that they were using. So it's not uncommon, and this is not to scare you, but it's not uncommon that industries then leave that land and then it becomes residential. That's not uncommon anywhere in the United States. It just matters that it's done safely, right? So to tell you kind of, they passed all their levels. We're going to continue looking into it in more depth. They're like 800-page documents, so we're only so far. But they did pass their levels, and with that one that we were concerned about, it was well below the residential limit requirements. So it does have chemicals in the ground and in the groundwater, but they're supposed to be at levels that are safe. To compare in a situation where it's not safe, in Grand Prairie, there was like a Superfund site with a massive industrial unit that became residential, and it was over 700 times the amount that's here. So that's what we want to make sure doesn't happen, right? We don't have people living on that property, but that's not, to our understanding so far from our research, is what's happening here. And then actually this part has already been addressed. The area plan sessions are important. Go to those if you can. And we can also research any other needs that you guys have going forward about city-related things. It sounds like you guys already work a lot with them, so they may be able to just give it to you straight. But feel free to reach out to me. I can also get you this PowerPoint or any of the research that we've done directly. So that's it for me. Any questions?
I have a question, but
Yeah.
indirectly it's for the mayor and probably Julie. I know you said that property is MA. What about Ready Mix and Martin Mill? Do you know what the zoning is for those properties are right now? Do you know?
I'll find out.
Okay. Okay, yeah, okay. You were talking about the zoning by right is what I was curious about.
Yeah. Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So what we're talking about is just the first phase, right?
First phase, yes.
And then you're gonna come back to us and give us some more information about those.
Yeah, so phase 2 and phase 3, and I haven't been able to dig into them as much, but it's my understanding that they may have different types of zonings or easements that they may request or variances, but it just hasn't been put in the system yet or requested, but we'll see. So, yes ma'am. Yes, sir.
I do have a question on what you're able to advise on.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak to it, I just want to know if you can. So, can you advise a group like this on how to push, how not to push, right? Let me give you the background why I say that. Phase 1 is done, is built by right because they were tired of working with the city, right? And they're like, we're back and forth and negotiating this or that. And they're like, hey, we got to get going. What can we do by right? And so I knew where you're going because they did it on purpose to avoid dealing with the city because it taken too long. So, but the residents need to be educated on, hey, push, but don't push such that they then say, never mind, we're just gonna do it by right? So there's that delicate balance.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna speak to it, I just
No,
wanna
you're
know if
good.
that's something you can.
Yeah, so
and if that's something you can-
let me flesh that out a little bit. So there are certain things that we can and can't do as legal aid. So I am not allowed to lobby. So I can't actually meet up with a city official and talk about what kind of zoning change should happen and how to get there. However, I can tell you how the zoning process works, what are the issues that can come with certain types of zoning, but I can privately negotiate between a developer and a community group to address some of those things. But I will also be clear that some of them, there's things, right, and I love community work. I've been involved in it since I was a kid. I love it so much, and I've realized there's certain things that are achievable, right? And then there's certain things that you get really excited about and you want to dream about. My goal is to try to find those both together, where that Venn diagram crosses. So depending on what type of easement it is or what type of zoning it is, it may not really be possible to fight, but the ones that are, that's the goal to try to push and have. You guys are welcome to talk to city council. I can educate you about that and kind of give you the ins and outs of that process. And maybe even pull in, city planning to kind of give more of a presentation about it, or I can sit down with her and she can talk to me about it. So, yeah.
But I think you touched on it, that component where you help the community advocate and talk to and negotiate deals or find consensus.
Potentially.
Well, yes, potentially with the developer is great. That's a component that's missing. Because again, you know as well as I, you can go to a point where they're like, never mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the deal still has a pencil. And so where that balance is,
yeah.
and knowing that you're representing the community or involved or advising as they kind of make decisions, that's comforting.
Yeah.
That you're able, that's in your purview.
Yes. So, and just letting you guys know the purview of our retainer and the work that we're doing for you guys as a neighborhood group. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm representing y'all in front of a developer. My goal right now is just to research and give you guys information, and then we'll go from there. So, but I look forward to keep working on it and keeping you guys updated.
So let me add one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
The city has a chance right now to do a CBO and get that approved by council. And having a CBO is going to complement what the communities do with CBAs. Get with it.
That's one person's opinion, and I respect that. Appreciate you. I disagree. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I just had a question to ask. Where is the zoning on West Prairie? Is it on, on the other side of the Morrison Mill, or is it on this end?
Let me go back, because I'm not exactly sure each street. And I actually, if we want to follow up, I can give you my information. I have the actual zoning map. Yes, yeah. I'm saying it's been more addressed between here and here on phase 1. Phase 2 has some of it. Oh, see, she's already got the zoning map. I love it. And I would have to click on each one. But I can get back with you and we can look at this computer. It's
yes, it's all in it looks like.
Yeah. So what it's more about is checking that each property, that they have the ability to do what they're asking to do on that site. And if they don't, then they have to get a variance or an easement or a zoning change to do that. And that's where the community group has a leverage point to sit in front of council and say, we oppose that variance or we oppose that easement because we think it's going to have a certain type of impact on the community. That's your right to do something like that.
It's also where you play a role with Sedman to create a CPA.
Yeah, and that's where I want to give you guys the information about what's possible and what's achievable. I would also say, and I know we're going a little bit over time, but being involved in this, it will require a lot from a group if you get to a step of a CBA, because getting to a contract and getting to an enforceable agreement is a lot of work, and it also requires you to have some organizational structure like bylaws, articles of incorporation, and sometimes it may require a 501c3 status. It just depends on what you're wanting to do. But just know that keep going in the direction y'all are going, but it will require a lot of work. There are options for things outside of something being technically labeled a CBA that can still have community benefits, but I'll try to go through some of that nuance and we'll keep working.
Does everybody know what those acronyms mean? Y'all,
Oh,
what I
community
learned is you don't
benefits
throw out acronyms. if
Yes,
you're
I
not
know. See, I appreciate it. Community benefits agreement is the CBA. Was there another acronym that I threw
You
out?
said CBO, what'd you say?
CBO. Oh yeah, if you can describe that one more. So yeah, if you want to describe the CBO.
It's what other cities have done to support neighborhoods, and it's called a community benefits ordinance. So if the city supports neighbors and support neighborhoods, they do a CBO.
They support the neighborhood by doing what? Supporting what the neighborhood wants, or doing what they want?
They passed an ordinance. They passed an ordinance that states that the communities can enter into community bargaining agreements.
Okay, community bargaining agreement.
Yeah. So you did the ordinance to add the other thing.
Let me add to that, Pastor. Here's what it does. It puts the city back in your business. We're trying to get the city out of your business so that you can negotiate the way you want to. But people that don't live over here want to put the city back in y'all's business, but he don't want me over on Hickory Street. That's what's going on. City's trying to get out of your business so that you can negotiate whatever you want to negotiate with autonomy, because you live here and you have that right to negotiate whatever you want without the red tape that the city comes with, because then all of a sudden all these rules come in. You heard it, bylaws, all that nonsense. You can work right around that. and well, he's shaking his head because he wants y'all to sit down and have to spend some money to go get incorporated, to go do all this stuff.
It's just your opinion.
Well, I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. It's a lot of work, as his words.
It's for the neighborhood.
I let you finish.
If it's important, it's going to be working.
I'll wait. Okay, so it's versus the neighborhood being able to go and advocate tomorrow like we did initially, and like he suggested, I would agree with that, having regular meetings with him to follow up. But that CBO puts the city back in, red tape, all those things. That's my concern. So I've been wrong before. It's okay, but that's the other side.
Okay. There's obviously a difference of different opinions on
It
that.
is. I've been in the field that I'm in. Just be mindful. Don't throw out acronyms if you're not willing to tell me. Now, maybe everybody else know what it was, and I didn't. But you're talking to a community, and we could miss everybody by throwing acronyms out and thinking they know what it is, and we walk away agreeing to something that we didn't know what it was we were agreeing to or not agreeing to because we didn't know the acronym. So it's just important to, if we're going to share the information, let's share all the information without keeping people in the dark by using words that are not typically used in the Southeast Denton area per se. You know, we don't have conversations. Nobody walks around and say, "Hey man, how you doing? How you kids? Well, how's that CBA going?" We don't have conversations like that. So we just want to make it where it's more understandable.
Well, that's
why I would assume that the residents here would want to know, and then they can know how they're going to vote, how they're going to have this conversation, not just on, I don't know what that means, but it sounds good.
And I do want to encourage that. I want to encourage that too. I'm kind of in a quick space of like, I missed this couple of things, but I would prefer it being conversational. So, especially when Emily's here and both of us are working up here in Denton as much as we can. Sitting down for conversation is much better than presentation. Anytime.
And I know you were rushing. I'm not putting that
great. I just also mean that. I genuinely mean I actually more enjoy anyone coming here. No. I just want to encourage everybody that we would love to meet with people one-on-one to like collect information and like go to church and do different stuff. So awesome. Anything else? All right.
What was the outcome of the zoning?
Oh yeah,
it's this side is MN and this side is MD.
Okay. Yeah, and that's, I have to dive into this.
That ready mix and I would just what was the zoning for ready mix and
Yes.
Okay.
Well, ready mix side is MN.
You're not the railroad, but I can't.
And what is MN?
There you go. You see
It's a mixed-use neighborhood.
Mixed-use neighborhood.
Yeah, there's a whole list of, the city website has a list of things that can be built there, so it's hard, and it changes, so I can't tell you what it is, but you can, we'll send a link or something to get sent out.
So you saying ready mix is MN or MD? Okay, so I'm gonna say that's what the railroad project is. So if ready mix ever leaves and somebody wants to come in and build, it's gonna be, we're gonna have another problem like the railroad because it's owned by right, which means I'm not gonna say you don't have a say, but I mean, go ahead.
If I can answer your question, is that all right? Okay, so with ready mix, understand, they want to leave, but the market is such that they can't leave because they have to do environmental clearances. It's a cement mixing plant, you know, before.
Is it Texas Star right?
Yes, yeah. And so they want to leave, but they have to clear environmentals where to go. And by the time they do that, someone's bought the land where they're trying to go. So I say that to say, to prepare the neighborhood, there's deals in place, there's developers in place that'll do a land swap, but it's not. By the time they do a land swap, there's not going to be this open process to, as much of it, I'm curious about how that'll work, right? Because they're going to say, hey, we'll give you some land out here to move, we'll take over your land, and then I don't know, and then all the environmental stuff has to happen, and then figure out what's going to go there. But it'll kind of be a land swap that gets them out of that spot versus truly them moving on their own accord, because there's no land that will wait that long for them to buy. So it's a problem.
I'm gonna jump in after that. So actually, I didn't know that Texas Star Ready Mix was dealing with that right now. So we are actually in Joppy, which is in South Dallas, dealing with Texas Star Ready Mix down there, working on. So we also work on like environmental permitting issues. So we have to go through like a whole staffing and all that kind of stuff. But if that's something that you guys as a group are interested in knowing more about, it is potentially something that we can research. We already know a little bit about that. And that's something where they're required to go through permits. They're required to get compliance. They're required to look through stuff, especially because I assume it's adjacent or relatively adjacent to residences. So
Yeah, it is right next to the railroad
yeah,
project.
so that is, if y'all are interested in that, you guys can reach out to us. And that's, yeah.
Yeah, so that was my favorite would have been, like say, MN.
Yeah.
Just like the railroad project, you know, I mean, I don't know how many people actually came when he met with the neighborhood.
And I don't know. Does that mean they're non-compliant? Are they non-compliant? As far as, is that allow that kind of zoning?
MN does not allow.
No, it's grandfathered.
Grandfathered in. That's what I mean. Sorry. So grandfathered in can have different. That's where having a small area plan can actually discuss sometimes, depending on which one yours is. I'm not meaning to step on your toes, but sometimes they can talk about how they want to address non-conforming uses. So I can dig into the weeds in that if y'all are interested. So my interest is piqued. Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you, my doctor. One thing, I had somebody ask me a question, I don't know if you found out or not. They wanted to know, is the city disconnecting people during this heat wave?
Yeah, I saw that there.
Traditionally, we do not. In the summer, we do not. Yeah. But I'll confirm that. But traditionally, in the summer months, they do not.
Okay, it was an article today saying that they were not.
Yeah.
I saw it today.
Okay, someone asked me that.
Yeah, I got something from, Assistant City Manager Frank Dixon. He sent me some information in that regard. And he said that they will not be disconnected from non-payment on the day of the disconnection or anything like that. So they're definitely monitoring the weather.
Does anybody have anything else? I know we're 30 minutes over. There is pizza. Anybody wants to take home a snack? There's pizza and water. And thank everybody for coming out. Oh, Tony come back?
He stepped back. You need it?
No, that's good.
Okay.
Thank everybody for coming out.